Welcome to the podcast, Mustafa.
Today is actually a very special day for me. When I woke up this morning and I was going through my messages and I saw someone message me asking me to do an interview with them of some sort. So I'm gonna go get changed. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing such a loose shirt, A, I got it for free at work, and B, I don't care. And if you're also wondering what that violin is doing over there, I don't play it. I used to when I was a kid, but it's just there so I look cooler. Now that was a sick sequence. I know. Too much Bollywood style, but let's keep moving. So Scott just called me and told me that we can meet up in an hour for the interview. So I'm super stoked and excited because I've never done this before. Before doing something like that, I need to grab a cup of coffee because why not? Let me check what time it is. I think I still have like about 40 minutes. So man, look at this place. I'm gonna go have Starbucks right now. Scott is a guy who does podcasts, and he happened to see my videos on YouTube and happened to like them and thought I'm pretty interesting for him to call me on his podcast show and interview me. I have interviewed a lot of times before. All of those were job interviews, which I absolutely hate doing, but this is something else. This is like, hey man, I like your stuff, you're cool, I want to have you on my podcast show, can I interview you? That to me is an achievement. So I'm about to head out to Scott's place now, and follow me there. Hey Scott.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Mustafa?
Yeah, Scott. Hey man, nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
We're gonna set up a podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna set it up right over here. I'll just get
Okay.
the laptop and we'll set it up here, and I'll move the stuff over.
Got nice little dumbbells right there, man.
Yeah.
Workout?
I do.
That's awesome.
I do.
Workout is important.
Absolutely,
Pretty important.
man.
Is that your bike or?
That is not my bike. That's my son's bike. That is my son's bike. That's my longboard. That's my son's skateboard.
Oh, you skateboard?
Absolutely.
Nice, man. I wish I learned how to do that, but.
Dude.
Okay, so I have no idea what this podcast is gonna be about, or because I've never done this before, but nonetheless, it's gonna be fun. So, kind of weird, you know.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Conscious Man Podcast. I am your host, Scott Pagliaccio, and this podcast is designed to help you grow, to help you develop, perhaps even stretch yourself a little bit. This is for the growth-oriented individual who's looking to go to the next level in their lives. And on the podcast today, we have a special guest. His name is Mustafa. His YouTube channel is Musatainment. And we're going to go into a little talk about what's alive for him in the moment. And there's a lot going on. Welcome to the podcast, Mustafa. So we talked a little bit about what was going on for you, about your YouTube channel, about you being a new father. And I'm curious to know, what do you want to dive into right now? What's most alive for you in this moment?
The first most important thing for me is family. My wife, my daughter, and then my parents, obviously. Second important thing is my daytime job, which is 9 to 5, but that's the source for me to feed my family. My real passion is content creation, filmmaking, and video. So that's why I started doing YouTube, so I can also pursue my passion, not just be working a 9 to 5 job.
So what I'm hearing is that you have a 9 to 5 job, but you also have a passion and a purpose. And I think that's something we hear a lot today, is people looking for their passion, looking for purpose. not that it couldn't be in your 9-to-5 job, because it sounds like you enter into that with the same amount of purpose and passion as you do your filmmaking and your content creation. So what inspired you to want to create content on YouTube? That's what I'm really curious about.
Yeah, I'm interested in like so many things. I have a lot of hobbies, and one of the biggest ones is content creation, being creative. I mean, that's a side of me that I had since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that's something I have a passion for. I just don't want to be just a normal person that's going 9 to 5 every day, comes home, and then it's eat, sleep, and then repeat the next day. You got to do more with your life. So with the content creation, what I'm doing on YouTube, I can really express who I am. I can tell stories about myself and things I did to make my life better, or things I personally did to overcome my own struggles.
Yeah.
And I can share those stories so that somebody else can hear it and they might get inspired or motivated. And that's why I'm challenging myself to do this, which is very challenging, especially with a 9-to-5 job, with the family, with the kid. Still, I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, it's an inspiration for me. Like when we were talking before we turned the mic on, I see how important it is for you to be creative. And had you not, I wouldn't have gotten the message that I needed to hear to continue on. So it's about vulnerability too. You have the balls to go out there and step into doing something that's not easy, or most people don't do but want to do, and you're actually taking bold action into doing it. And since you did, you ended up at our studio giving me a message, man, that I needed to hear, and it's beautiful. So not only are you putting the message out to people in your vlog, but actually you brought a message here for me today that landed so near and dear to my heart that it has me inspired and wanting to step up and do more too. I get really scared and in my head about being creative, and I think that's who we all are. We are not meant to sit in cubicles and offices, and there's nothing wrong with that. We are creative beings. We are the creator and the created, man. Something created us, and then something comes through us, and it allows us to create our lives. And I think we've been conditioned away from this state of being, and we've been brainwashed into thinking that we have to be a certain way. We have to get a job, we have to buy a house, we have to have a family, and then, like you said, rinse, repeat, and then we die. And you're doing something that's creative and that helps people and that sends a message, and I really admire that. And that's something that we on The Conscious Man want to share with our listeners, that if you dream it, you can do it.
If you have ever dreamt of doing something, if you have a passion in your heart, but something kept you away from it, could be your full-time job, could be your family, could be your obligations. If you really want to do it, you're going to find a way.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do it, you'll find an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I love that. Yeah. You listen to I think the message is to listen to the voice within you that says you can, and then do what they say you can't.
Right.
And I really love that, man. That's a great message to have, and it's just inspiring. Like, I just feel inspired over here, man.
Yeah.
And a great deal of joy as we sit here and chat, man. And you know what else I know is super duper alive for you is you have a newborn child, man. And I'm curious to know, what's that like for you, man? You're 27 years old.
Yeah.
You worked your ass off and became successful in IT, which I want to applaud you for. Now you're starting a new venture into vlogging, and not only that, you have a newborn child and a beautiful wife at home. And I'd like you to share a little bit with the listener about what that's like for you.
My first greatest experience of having a family, besides obviously growing in my parents' house, was my wife.
Mm-hmm.
After I got married to her, I started living with her and everything. It just changed my perspective, like, completely. That's when I experienced true love. Like, I didn't know what loving a person really means, or what is it to be loved by another person. I mean, sure, your parents love you, but it's not the same as, your wife loving you or something like that, at least for me. Yeah. And then I thought that's it. You know, I don't think I can love anybody more than this. This is probably the height that I can, or like the most I can love a person is my wife, or the most loved one by me. But then here comes my daughter. In a day, less than the second she was born, she was in my hands. I'm like, man, this is my new true love. Like, I mean, I have no words to explain it, but it's something that you need to experience. Once you hold that baby in your hands, you know it's your blood. It just changes everything for you. I mean, it makes you more responsible. It just makes you more conscious of things. Now, things that I do, I have to think twice about it, because it's not only affecting me or my wife, it's also going to affect my kid. I got to be a good role model. I got to be a good dad for her. Like you said, you know, you want to be that guy as an example for a guy that she would want to be in future with, right? So I have to do a lot of things differently and make a lot of improvements in myself, so my daughter can look up to me and she can say, "You're a super dad."
Yeah.
So that's another goal, you know, that I have in my life, is to be the best husband, but not only a best husband, but also the best dad that I could be. So it's just a wonderful experience, man. What did you see in me that made you think like, okay, he might be an interesting person to, you know, do a podcast with or interview?
Your creativity, man. Like
Okay.
you doing, like I said, you doing and being the thing. Like, it's a mentor, it's a leadership role. You're modeling and showing up in the world, like being an example.
Mm-hmm.
So you give me permission to do the same. When you lead with vulnerability, this is vulnerable. You're putting your shit out there for the whole world to see.
Oh, yeah.
And not everybody does that. And people hate, and they're like, but they're not doing anything. And you are. And so you're an example to me to continue to work hard. And what I'm seeing through you is that I'm headed down the right path. And if I stay the course and if I do the work, and over time, that, you know, it'll pay off. Yeah. So there's a lot of messages in there, dude. I love that, man.
Yep. Well, man, it was awesome talking to you and, you know, coming over for this interview and for this podcast. I honestly feel honored that you saw something in me and you invited me over for this. I really want to thank you, man. You know, people who are watching this video can also get an inspiration, and then they can start working on their dreams from today. There is absolutely no excuse you can make to avoid your dreams.
Yeah. Do it now.
Yeah.
The only moment that exists is right now.
Yeah. You live only once. Do it now or it's never.
Yeah.
Yep. Today is a very special day for me. I woke up this morning and yeah, I can't tell you about it.